This is Steve Spurrier. You can join University of Florida Hall of Famer Shane Matthews and also the two-time SEC Player of the Year every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about the Florida Gators, including news, analysis, opinions, and some of the biggest names in sports. You can find him on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Or you can watch him live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter.
Good morning. It's a live edition. It is a Friday edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. We got JC. We'll have Edgar Thompson from the Orlando Sentinel. If you missed it last night, Dolphins get clobbered by the Buffalo Bills.
Good pick.
And oh wait, hang on a second, Jake Plummer. Hang on a second.
No, dude, you took them. You
Oh
love.
no, I did take them, but you were. You have to admit, JC,
What?
you were getting ready to purchase a Texas State hat online last night. You have to admit. Admit it, JC.
I admit it.
Okay, thank you.
I'm talking about the Dolphins. You picked the Dolphins.
Well, I didn't watch any of it. I took the Dolphins because they were at home. That's the only reason.
Nobody cares about that. The NFL QB, you know that.
On a short week, and Buffalo usually doesn't play well there.
Well, I tell you, if I'm Tua's wife right now, I'm sitting down with him in the.
No, he's done. There's no way he comes back.
If he wants any quality of life whatsoever, he's got to think much harder about his situation. You can't. I mean, QB, you've had concussions before. How many can you take? I mean, this poor man.
Yeah, his are bad. His have been really bad, and I don't think there's any way that he'll play again.
I feel terrible for him, but that's just what he's got money. He's going to be comfortable for the rest of his life. Now he needs to think about quality of life. Buffalo, to me, I didn't think it was that hard of a pick, honestly. I think Josh Allen and the Bills were going to play better than they did in week one. And I think Arizona should not be taken lightly. So that was not a bad win for Buffalo. That Arizona team could be dangerous if they're healthy. So anyhow, good night for Arizona State. They're 3-0 QB. Very surprising. Could be a big weekend in the SEC. We've got a lot of games, QB, a lot of big spreads, a lot of things to talk about.
Yes, we do. Andy says
Jake Plummer.
Jake Plummer. Yeah. Andy says here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, if you're Tua, do you take the $167 million and retire? That's his injury. Yes. Yeah.
You can't enjoy it if your brain is a vegetable. That's the thing he's got to think about. Yeah,
and he makes a lot of money in endorsements too, so there's more to that. So I don't even know who's their backup, JC?
Skylar Thompson. Does that make sense?
The kid from Kansas State?
Yep.
Huh.
I don't know if he's from Kansas State, but his name is Skylar.
I'm pretty sure he's from Kansas State.
The Dolphins, Mostert is hurt. It's always something with these guys. They're always injured. It's just, Achan's either hurt or this or that. Waddle gets hurt every other week. And so the Dolphins are a mess. I thought they were damn lucky to beat Jacksonville last week. Shouldn't have won. But whether or not you care about the Dolphins, I don't think you can expect to see Tua for a while, if ever again.
I don't think you'll ever see him again.
Okay.
Personally. Like I said, I didn't watch the game. I saw the highlight, and I'm like, there's no reason for him to play anymore.
He just, they've trained him so many ways to not take hits, to try to protect himself and so forth from that. But when it's fourth down and you're trying to make a first down, instinct kicks in, and he's going forward, and he just hit the guy's leg the wrong way.
No, he did, but he could have gotten down. He had the first down by like 6 yards.
Yeah, he should have gotten his ass down. 100%.
Yeah. All right, we got some texts here. There's a million. I'm going to pick and choose a few here.
Right, take some texts.
Leroy in Palm Coast says,
Leroy.
What is he asking here? I don't know what this is. It's something that's screenshot from a chat board. I can't read it, Leroy. Sorry. It's too blurry.
Okay.
JC, are you a member of a chat board? I'm just curious.
No, but I am back on X or Twitter.
What's your name on Twitter?
Let me tell you here. I will be happy.
Did you have to get a new account?
Yes. So it is. This is exciting. Cornell Jr. 51349.
Okay,
So,
that's a terrible handle or whatever they call it.
That's what they gave me. I just put it in Cornell at Cornell Jr. because I'm a junior. I'd have JR on the back of my jersey.
Would you?
I don't know. Maybe that's the thing to do these days.
I don't understand that at all.
I don't know. Cornell Jr. 51349. I don't know where 51349.
Yeah, that's terrible. That's terrible. So now all your loyal listeners can follow you.
That's right.
All right, this is Josh.
I have zero followers. I have zero followers and zero followers. But I can see everything, brother. I'm back.
He says, who looks the best to you across the defensive line? By the way, it's hard being a Gators and Dolphins fan these days. Prayers for Tua. Defensive line, not much. I haven't seen a whole lot, Josh.
Yeah.
I need to see more. All right, this is 954 says, good morning. Sounds like Connor Wigman's now on the questionable list. Which means it's our defense's annual give up 500 yards of offense to a backup QB. Their backup QB played a lot last year, by the way. JC loves that guy.
I do.
Yeah, you don't even know his name, but that's all you raved about last year was this guy.
Really?
I don't even know his name either. I think he's a black kid that runs around. Thompson, maybe?
Yeah.
No?
Okay.
I'll look it up.
You got me on this one. I haven't really kept up with the Aggies other than the fact that I've watched them play. I think if they played Notre Dame again, they'd win. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
But that's
Army Sniper says here.
Army Sniper. Army
Yeah.
Sniper's supposed to call me. I don't know where Army Sniper.
Army Sniper may need to change his name here because anyway, if Napier loses on Saturday, he's going to be let go. That's what the chat boards are saying.
What?
Okay, maybe that was Army Sniper that sent that. I've heard that too. I don't know. I'm not on any chat boards.
Man, that's got to be tough coaching a game knowing that it could always be the next one could be your last one.
Well, it pretty much. I mean, look, we have to win games.
Got a contract.
That's the bottom line.
I agree, but you know what? He could always attach himself to DJ and say, "Hey guys, listen, man, I've got the first class of my players." This is
okay, but JC, no. That's not his first class of his players.
Basically, this is his first freshman class. I'd like to say.
No, that's not true.
I mean, those guys were the other coaches' players.
That's freshmen. The freshmen are your class.
Yeah.
So when he came here in year one, that's his freshman class. So
okay.
I was talking to somebody the other day. They're like, should we give him time? Should we not? I said, I don't know what the answer is. I said, all I know is that just because you have one great player or you think you have a great player, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We hope he's great. You have that kind of sometimes masks the issues. You know what I'm saying? I look at the great coach, the great coaches, and again, the great coaches just don't come along. The great coaches win with multiple players.
Oh man, I'm getting the followers now. Look what you started.
There you go.
Oh my God. No, listen, and I hear you, and I agree with all that. But Lagway is his guy. He got Lagway. That's his guy. And
he got Graham as well, and he kept Anthony Richardson here. Look, that's fine, but again, the bottom line is results, right? Results.
Okay.
In any business, right?
All right.
Results.
So results without DJ starting are 11 wins and 16 losses.
Okay. So let me. So JC, let me just say this.
DJ to start the game.
You're not listening to what I'm saying.
I am. You're talking about results.
So okay, let's say DJ starts the rest of the year. We win every game, and then we win every game after that. DJ graduates or leaves, and then we go back to losing. That's not the point of the story. Is Steve Spurrier started how many quarterbacks? I'm just asking.
Well, he started you. And he started
Danny, Terry Dean, Noah, Doug, Rex, Jesse. Do I need to keep going?
No.
Okay. Every one of them never lost less than one more than 9 games every year. Okay. Urban won with Chris Leak. He won with Tebow. I think Brantley won a few games. What I'm saying is one player can help your team win now, but I'm talking about the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Scotty says, Shane, I know you said that we really need to find a way to beat A&M, but sadly, I can't say I'll be surprised by any loss we get because ain't no one afraid of us no more. Well, that's true. That is true.
Ain't nobody afraid of Texas A&M either, to be honest with you.
No, they're kind of in the same boat as we are, but they're in year one of their new coach. We're in year three.
Yeah.
I'll be anxious to see because apparently we're going to be able to run the football on them from what I've been told. We'll see. Mark says coaches usually turn a program around in 2 to 3 years. He's had his chance to pull the plug. I mean, look, we got to win games this year, or it's not going to be good. I'm just saying that. All right, so Andy, I meant to ask you this yesterday or whenever Andy. We get so many comments now. He says, since the Aggies are in town, can JC please do his A&M drill cheer?
The drill cheer, you know. I mean, once I start doing it, I'm going to fall out of this damn chair. But, you know, I wish I knew what the words were that the yell leaders do. And I wish they had cheerleaders, but
JC, would you like here? I will give you some information. I saw this. I think I saw it on Twitter, by the way.
Okay.
This evening, I think at midnight.
Yeah.
They're doing midnight yell down at the Bo Diddley Plaza.
Are they? Now, see, that would be something to watch, don't you think? But then I have to go all the way downtown. That would be problematic for me tonight. So, wow. Okay. Well, I don't know. You know, gosh, I love their tradition. It's kind of like that school is kind of, and I don't mean this in a disparaging way whatsoever, but it feels like it's kind of cultish. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a cult. They have this midnight fire that goes 20 feet up in the air.
I think that's only for homecoming, right? Or when they play Texas.
Well,
the bonfire?
They haven't played Texas in a long time. No, they have bonfires, man.
JC, I'm being corrected by Tony. Tony says the midnight yell downtown is at 10 o'clock tonight.
Okay, so it's not the midnight yell, but it's a yell. Well, I think it would be kind of cool to see, but not really. I mean, I don't care about A&M's traditions. That's their thing, and like I said, they're kind of, and I don't mean it disparagingly, but they're kind of like a cult. But at any rate, listen, it's a great place. They got tons of money. They're paying a guy to do nothing, $7.5 million for the next 7 years or some ridiculous thing. And they don't care. They don't care. And by the way, I love this. All of a sudden, at Cornell Jr. 51349 is exploding as we talk. I mean, you better be glad that I brought up Twitter. All right. Florida Victorious
I'm thrilled.
is a proud NIL partner of the Florida Gators. Joined today to help make
Florida victorious. JC, how many games are we picking today?
All right. Well, this is a big roster. I have a big day, and it's not quite like October the 19th.
Well, you didn't answer my question. So
I'm getting to it. It's
Peachland. Let me get to the Peachland Dentistry, Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte and surrounding areas. Now it's time for the Peachland Dentistry weekend picks.
Yes. You need some dentistry after getting your teeth knocked out last night, going 0-2, and I went 2-0. And
where do we stand on the year?
Well, that puts you at 9-8 and me at 8-9.
Okay.
So, all right. So here we go. We'll start tonight. Zach, if you can find some great football music or something to underneath, this is called pre-production, but you don't have to if you don't want to. But it's good while QB sits there and ponders what he's thinking about to have some sort of tune. But it's okay. If you don't have it, it's okay. UNLV tonight is playing Kansas. This is a good game. Barry Odom, my guy, is playing at
But
Kansas.
You like the Kansas coach too, don't you?
I love Lance. Love Lance. He's done it. I mean, when you think about where they were before he got there, my God, that program was dead. UNLV averages 500 yards a game. Now, they've only played 2 games, and 1 game was against somebody nobody's ever heard of. But they are catching 9.5, and I'm all over that at Kansas.
I like the running Rebs as well.
Damn right. All right, then tomorrow we start with a game that I don't understand this line at all. Florida State's one of the worst-looking teams I've seen right now in the country on the lines of scrimmage. They suck. They're horrible. But Memphis is coming in with all these athletes that I've heard about, and I don't know how great they are either, but they're catching 6.5. And until Florida State shows me something, I'm going to take the Memphis Tigers, who used to be called Memphis State. I'm taking them plus 6.5 right now, right today. Memphis.
Yeah, I like Memphis to win the game. They got a very experienced quarterback who's been there a long time. They have athletes. They will not be intimidated. Florida State's going to have to play really, really well to even to win this game.
Why is it 6.5? That's a weird line to me. I think FSU's getting respect they don't deserve right now. Notre Dame's another team. Can't figure them out, but they're playing at Purdue. I love this Purdue quarterback. I think this guy is the real deal. I think he can chuck it, and I'm taking them getting 9.5 at home. Purdue plus 9.5 against Notre Dame at home. Everybody thinks Notre Dame's going to bounce back. Sometimes when you think you can bounce back, you're not capable of bouncing back. And I think Purdue stays inside the number here. They may not win, but I think they're going to stay inside.
I think Purdue's going to win the football game.
You got them just winning outright.
I do.
Is that because of Notre Dame's ineptitude, or Purdue, you like Purdue?
I think Purdue has a nasty defense from what my sources tell me. I know nothing about the Boilers. I don't think Drew Brees is running out of the tunnel.
No, but Hudson Card is. And he's one of the better.
Yeah, he's a transfer from Texas a few years ago.
But
I like Purdue to win the game.
Gosh, you and I are too similar so far. Here's a great game. Great game. Happy for the fact that the Mountain West is now going to turn into the Pac-12. But
do you think Stanford and Cal get out of the ACC and go back to the Pac-12?
I think when their kids and their coaches say they're damn tired of flying across the country 3 times a month, yes. I would say money is the only reason they're even in.
Hey, before we go there, Tony has a question for you. He wants to know if you know where Kansas is playing their home games.
Where Kansas is playing their home games? Well, their school is in Lawrence, Kansas. So
well, they're not playing any games on campus. Their stadium is being
they're redoing the stadium.
I don't even know where they're playing.
That's a great question, Tony. Great question, but
Tony knows. He'll have to let us know.
Yeah, I wasn't up to date on the latest Kansas thing. I know Northwestern's redoing theirs. I think that's a wonderful thing. I think Vanderbilt at some point is going to finish theirs. But the game I want to talk about right now has another line I don't understand. Oregon is at Oregon State. Huge rivalry. Oregon State has played with them 3 years straight. Always close. You're laughing. What?
I'm laughing because I'm getting all these questions about the background music. What is it?
Isn't it great? It's great.
Why? Wait, I can't hear it.
Oh, that's all right. Let the viewers enjoy.
But they're asking, what is it?
Well, Zach, that's great. You're doing a great job.
Asa says it's salsa music playing in the background.
I like it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we're all for it. See, this is what makes things happen. The Beavers are hosting the Ducks. Ducks have not been impressive. Ducks are supposed to be like your Big Ten champion, which is laughable. I'm taking the Beavers. Getting 16.5, there's no way in hell. I'm sorry. Give me the Beavers.
Well, I like the Beavers too.
I mean, how do you not?
So Chris in Mayaka says on the Titan Mar text line, jazz music playing in the background.
Okay. Jazz. That's a little bit more relaxing. It's a Friday morning in September. How about Washington State, another team that's pissed off because they got left out? And Washington State is at Washington. Now, that's a 4.5 point spread, and your favorite guy out west, Jed Fish, is your Washington coach. But I take Washington State. I want the 4.5. I'm going with the Dogs.
Where's the game being played?
To Seattle.
All right, you're going to take the Cougs, just so I'll be different. I'll take the Huskies.
Yeah, you like Fish. All right.
I mean, I like him, but I don't think he has. I think I have a better chance of being the coach here over Jed.
Oh, all right. Okay. Well, get that application going.
No, Jed's not going anywhere. You know who his quarterback is?
He brought him from Arizona, and I don't know his name.
No, he did not.
Oh, he didn't? You sure?
I'm 100%.
Okay.
Will Rogers.
Oh, from Mississippi State. That's right. You're right. It is. Well, Will deserves to have a guy to help him out after what happened to Mike Leach.
Yeah.
That fiasco last year. Georgia at Kentucky. Man,
this is blowout city.
God.
And the only reason I say that, now, we could both look like idiots because every game is different. But my people that do this for a living, we don't really do it for a living, but they do this for a living, told me how great Kentucky was going to be with the transfer quarterback from Georgia.
Year in and year out, I hear that.
And yeah, same guy keeps telling us that. And they're terrible.
He's got to figure it out, man. Get off the Kentucky thing. I don't care if they're getting 22. Georgia will win by 30. And Brock Vandegrift's just not effective, and South Carolina showed you what to do against them. So I think Stoops is getting a little lethargic. It's the same recycled garbage every year. 7-5, that's what they got, and that's what they're going to end up being. Or this time, maybe 5-7. Here's a game that, I don't understand this line either, because Auburn is just hot trash. But they're laying 28 to the Lobos, who can score some points. And the Lobos are 0-2, but the Lobos can put the ball in the end zone. And if you're going to give me a team with 28 points who can score, I'm going to take them. Give me the Lobos at Auburn, -28. I don't care.
I'll take Bronco Mendenhall and his crew, because I just don't trust Auburn at all.
Hell no. Why would anybody? Here's another team that I'm not certain of. Oklahoma's laying 13 at home, another SEC game here, or SEC team. But Tulane's coming in. I like what Tulane showed us last week against Kansas State, offensively at least. I think they can keep it inside the number against Oklahoma. I tell you, I can't believe all these underdogs I'm taking. I can't believe these lines, these spreads. So I want Tulane.
I'll take the Sooners at home. Reggie says it feels like he's watching an episode of Gunsmoke, and they are riding on the plains chasing robbers. We're going to have to go back and listen to this, because we can't hear the music.
Man, it's great. Zach, you just keep it going, baby. You're getting Producer of the Year award right now. I'll give you a parking spot at my office. How about this game? Figure this one out. 16 points, and you're giving me Boston College who can score. Bill O'Brien, this quarterback is in tune. If your quarterback and your head coach are synced, it's a good thing. They're getting 16 against Missouri. Missouri supposedly has the 85 Bears playing defense, the 86 Giants. Their defense is supposedly so great. I think BC still scores and keeps it inside of 16. So give me BC.
There's a lot of underdogs this week.
Crazy.
I'll take the
crazy lines.
I'll take the Screaming Eagles.
Yeah, crazy lines, but they're 2-0. I love them. Okay, here's another one. Wisconsin. All right, you're playing at home in Madison. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. You got Alabama, who can't block anybody because their right tackle is an absolute turnstile. He's terrible. I guess they don't have anybody else behind him. But South Florida exploited these guys up front. And so you're giving me a home team with a nutty crowd at 11 o'clock in the morning against a team that has to travel and 16 points. Now, I don't know how good or bad Wisconsin is. No idea. I know athletically they won't match up with Alabama. Doesn't matter. You're giving me 16 points, and if Alabama wins by 2 touchdowns, that's a winning bet. So give me Wisconsin +16.
I'm with you. I'm taking the home
Crazy.
dog at 11 a.m. start.
Oh, 16 points? What is Vegas seeing this week that we are missing, QB? Or what?
All right, real quick, let me get this text from the 865. I don't even know where that is. It says, good morning, QB. If Billy asked your opinion on how to save his job, what advice would you give him?
Start Lagway.
Well, I think it's too late.
Not if they win, it's not.
It's too late.
I don't think it is if he wins. Okay, 865 is in Knoxville, Tennessee. So they're waiting on the Gators. 865 is waiting on the Gators, QB. 865 is waiting on the Gators. Lagway gets in there. He represents 4 touchdowns today tomorrow for the Gators.
Again.
I'm sorry.
I have no problem with DJ playing, but JC.
Not this.
We were historically bad on defense last year, and I don't know if we're any better.
Agreed, okay. but I don't see the Texas Longhorns coming in here tomorrow either. So,
he's just talking about saving. We're not talking about winning one game. We're talking about saving his job. I am scared to death next week of Mississippi State going up and down the field.
Absolutely. Are you kidding me? Because they're going to tune up this weekend. Mississippi State is. They've got a game they'll win, and they're going to be confident. They're going to have the bells going crazy. Yeah, absolutely. So let's keep it going. But good question there, 865. We'll see you in Knoxville soon. LSU now he could be here using a Knoxville area code. LSU is at South Carolina, QB. What do you think about the Gamecocks? Are they for real, or was that just a patently awful performance?
I don't know what to think, but apparently LSU's got a lot of injuries on defense. They can't stop the run, and that's what South Carolina does. They run the football. They got a running quarterback. They can't throw the ball a lick. I think the Gamecocks cover the spread, don't win the game at home.
Okay. So you said LSU's really hurt and banged up, eh?
That's what I've heard. I don't know.
A lot of points. I'm going to take Nussmeier. I think they'll win by a touchdown. That just covers the spread.
I thought it was 7. You said
6.5. 6.5.
I'll probably you may win it then, but I'll take the Cox.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't mind seeing South Carolina win. Hell yeah, I don't like LSU. Never have. Here's Mississippi at Wake, 21.5.
They're going to score
100
every time they touch the ball against Wake.
100 points. He's going to get. Well,
they're going to win this game 65-14, or right around 65-20ish, is my guess.
Well, so that's like your most sure bet of the week right here.
I didn't know it. I just know they're going to score. Wake Forest can't stop anybody from what I've been told. I have a lot of people telling me things. I don't know if they're telling the truth, but I do know this. Ole Miss has already scored over 60 in every game, I think, in their 2 games.
Yeah.
And I don't think Lane's going to let up because this game's on the road.
No, it is on the road. It's in Greensboro. Now, Wake had a really tough one last week with Virginia. It was 32-31. It was a 1-point loss against Virginia.
Okay, well, Virginia can score 30 on them. Ole Miss is going to drop 60.
Well, South Alabama scored in the 80s last night. Don't be surprised if Ole Miss keeps it going. I don't know. It seems like to me Mississippi's first 6 games are just absolutely.
They're ridiculous.
They're ridiculous. We've got Texas A&M laying 3 to Florida. I know you don't pick the Florida games, but if I'm seeing Mertz start the game and the same old crap I've been watching, then I like Texas A&M. And if I see the new guy come in, I like the Gators. So how's that sound? All right. We've got 2 NFL games, Tampa Bay at Detroit. I think Baker.
You left out. Hang on a second. You left out Joseph. We left out the backyard brawl. How can you leave out the backyard brawl?
What the hell is wrong with me? Did I really? Oh, we can't leave that one out. That's it's rivalry weekend. It's rivalry weekend in week 3, QB. I don't know. I'm sorry. I apologize to all our backyard brawlers and certainly our West Virginia and Pitt fans that are watching because I know there's a lot of them. I don't know how I forgot your game. Bad handicapping on JC's part here. I'm not going to bother with Colorado State because I'm sick and damn tired of talking about Colorado. There's no reason to talk about Colorado. For some reason, people still do. It's just tired. It's a tired conversation. I'm off the Colorado conversation line, but for some, West Virginia's laying 1. Okay, it's a toss-up. Who do you like? I like the game's at Pittsburgh. Give me Pitt.
It's not at Pitt, is it?
It's West Virginia's the road team. Yeah. Pitt's the Steelers on the road. It's in Pittsburgh. Give me Pitt.
Well, I'll take Pitt at home. I thought it was at West Virginia.
No. It's at
Three Rivers.
Well, it used to be. It should always be that. But it's something called Acrisure Stadium. Heinz Field.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay is laying 7 to the Lions. Give me Baker. I'm a Baker guy.
Tampa Bay's laying 7 to Detroit.
I'm sorry. Tampa Bay is catching 7. Bad handicap analyst.
Wow.
Tampa Bay's catching 7. So for some reason, they're just in love with Campbell and his guys. They cover.
Well, I'm going to be opposite of you.
Take the Lions.
Something does not make sense to me.
Well, look, the Rams covered that game last week until overtime happened and they ran out of gas.
No, I know that, but that's a lot for an undefeated team that's played well last week. I'll take the Lions in the
7
Ford Field or wherever they play.
That's at Ford Field, yes. And then the game this weekend up the road here, I'm excited about it. I've got tickets for sale. Jaguars -3 at home against the Deshaun Watson-led Browns.
Okay, so this game, that I didn't even know what the line. This makes absolutely no sense to me.
No sense to you. Okay.
I think Deshaun Watson is a terrible player right now, but for some reason, I think the Browns are going to win this game.
No, listen, it's Jacksonville we're talking about, QB. They choked it up last week. They can find a way to lose. I thought Peterson and this group were different. But they found a way to lose last week. They had that game in their back pocket, and they looked good until that fumble. And so I don't know. I like the Jags at home. I think at home, -3. Cleveland looked so disjointed last week, QB. And you're right. He's out of his league. He doesn't know what he's doing over there. Amari Cooper's not even running routes, it doesn't seem like. The running back, Jerome Ford, is good, but he's not Nick Chubb. Cleveland can play some defense, but I think Jacksonville's going to score enough to cover the 3. So we have a lot of picks. This is very exciting, starting with tonight's game with Vegas and Kansas. But look at all these SEC games, fans. And then look on your schedule. Go forward to October 19th. You're not going to believe the schedule. You're not going to believe it.
All right. Before we get out of here, Gene
Tremendous.
says he's not a fan of the constant music as an intro, but then let them speak, please.
Well,
What do you think?
Well,
what do you want to say to Gene, JC?
Well, I get it, but it's like every production I watch, and Gene and I are into these TV productions, and I, of course, was in the business for a decade. You always have something underneath a conversation that just kind of meanders when you're doing something like this. Now, I don't know what music Zach picked, and it can't be loud. It has to be tongue, but we're trying things out here, trying to make things spicy, trying to get things a little bit more energetic and active. Listen, we're going to have a great day tomorrow. I think the weather's going to be very pleasant. I hope it doesn't rain. If it does, who cares? You got to win this game tomorrow, Florida. This is your season, if you ask me. This is it right here. Because next week, that team in Starkville's going to be waiting on you. They'll have a 2-1 record, and they'll be throwing the ball over the yard. And that's a test for the defense, win or lose. But if you win this game, at least you show up with some confidence next week. So you got to win this game.
No doubt. Last thing, Dan said on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law. Does anyone know anyone that may want to hook a brother up for a Jaguar game since he's in town from Texas?
Well, I'm a season ticket holder. So now these tickets are on Ticketmaster, but anyway.
You probably can't sell them, so you may want to give them to Dan. All right, JC, we got to go.
All right.
I got to get
a great weekend.
That's JC. Join us on the Titan Tomorrow Hotline. Take a quick time out. Come back. We'll talk about the Gators and the Aggies with Edgar Thompson from the Orlando Sentinel. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the morning. We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, Titan MRI, Meldon Law, Peachland Dental, QC Kinetics, Campus USA Credit Union, Dave & Buster's. Gridiron sponsors, Comfort Temp, UF Bookstores, Quality Plumbing, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogra State Farm, Electronics World, F45. Our touchdown sponsors, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Aikido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, Miapa Latin Cafe, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, MG&A Wealth, Nest and Wild. If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Hi there, this is Coach Steve Spurrier, and I want to let you know that by popular demand, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's delicious brunch is now served in a premium buffet. You have spoken, we have listened, and we're now serving Gainesville's only elevated buffet, complete with an omelet station, ginger sage chicken sausage, shredded short rib, and of course our chicken and waffles. Plus, you can enjoy bottomless mimosas and Bloody Marys. So join us every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 3 for the best brunch in town.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Ruse Ogra State Farm offers a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit ograinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. Back to the Titan Tomorrow Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. It's our man, Edgar Thompson from the Orlando Sentinel. Good morning, Edgar. How you doing, bud?
Doing fine. What's up with the Fun and Gun shirt? That's a cool one. You always have a cool t-shirt.
Yeah, I made these for our Coach Spurrier had a reunion down in Daytona. Gosh, it's probably been 7 or 8 years now. But I had these t-shirts made up for everybody because it's from 90 to 2001, his 12-year span here, and kind of a collector's item.
So well, I'll tell you, so Mark and I were talking going through some of his offenses. You go back and look at some of the numbers, man, from those teams, mid-90s teams. Your teams too, but the ones in the 46 a game, 44 a game.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, man, how they scored.
Yeah, I mean, from when I'd say from 95 to 2000, it was a machine because
that
01, yeah, because it took Spurrier a while to get the type of players that he needed in here because we didn't really we had some good players, but we didn't have what came after my senior year and probably Danny and Terry's Dean's that year in '93 when they kind of went back and forth. After that, it was a freaking machine. Edgar,
Mm-hmm.
Kanye Ron on YouTube says, any speculation on the QB rotation tomorrow? Will it be 2 to 3 drives each to start, then ride the hot guy? What do you think?
So Matt Baker, colleague at Tampa Bay Times, does a great job. Monday, I floated to Billy. You've never had a freshman quarterback. You've never really been in this situation before where you've had two guys, other than maybe looking at your history, statistics, just looking at stats, right? Levi Lewis, 18, his first year at Louisiana, right? There was a kid, Andre Nunez, who was a fifth string walk-on. Sound familiar? And he won the starting job. He'd been there for a while. And I love when Shane starts doing that. It's like he knows I'm starting to ramble. But anyway.
No, my eyes itch.
Okay,
Allergies.
so anyway, so Levi, as we recall now, anyone who knows how Billy did there at Louisiana, he was his starter for 3 years, 19, 20, 21, 33-5 as a starter. Very impressive guy. Not a big guy. Like he was barely 5'9", maybe. I don't even think he's 5'9". Dual threat kid, playing for the Barcelona Dragons now, actually. Okay. So he was a really dynamic kid, dual threat. Nunez was the starter. And he would bring him in. Matt researched this going through box scores every fourth series, no matter what. And in fact, Nunez against Georgia State, I believe Matt was telling me, had 9 for 9, 3 touchdowns, and he pulls them and puts the kid in because it was the plan. And he went down and led him to a field goal. So Billy has done this at that one time in his career, and he had a very, textbook plan he was going to stick to. Now, I don't know that that's the case here, but he's done it. I'm sure he's going to have a plan for DJ, whether it's every third series, whatever. Play him some. He's going to play for sure now. He was talking about playing him against Miami. It never happened because of whatever. They only had 20 plays or whatever the first half Billy talked about, and they were struggling. So he didn't just throw the kid in there. But there's going to be something for the guy. Now, if Mertz struggles badly and DJ uses his one series and plays really well, is he going to make a switch? I don't know. We know how Billy is. He sticks to things, and maybe to his detriment. We're just going to have to see, but he's going to have some feel for it. My thing is, if Mertz starts, and one of my friends pointed this out, Phil Stambaugh, Phil, he said, what if Mertz goes 3 and out and gets booed off the field? I mean, that's not good. So I don't know if it's all going to work, because a lot of people want DJ to start. He's not.
Yeah, and then the booing, I really hope fans don't do that, because look, that ain't right. That ain't right at all.
Mertz doesn't deserve that.
No, he does not. And I don't care who the quarterback is. They don't need to deserve that, because he's done nothing to deserve it, is my point. And I hope when DJ gets in there and plays really, really well. That's all I'm doing. But somebody brought up a good point the other day to me, another NFL guy that played here, that he saw what DJ did. He liked it. He goes, but if I was coaching, I would start Mertz. He says it's no different. What DJ did is when those different quarterbacks around the country in the third and fourth preseason game go in there in the second half and tear it up, right? Because they're playing against guys that ain't going to make the team.
Yep.
And that's what Sanford is. And again, I'm not taking anything away from that, because I hope DJ becomes one of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever had. But it was Sanford. And I just think people, Buck says they'll be booing Billy, not Graham. Well, you're not going to be able to tell Graham Mertz that. What are you going to boo and say, this is for Billy? I'm just telling you, it's a bad look for any fan to do that.
I don't think it's deserved. He didn't play well against Miami. He clearly was out of sorts from the start.
Very true. I like to take up the quarterbacks. But nobody played good. It wasn't just Graham.
Well, no,
There
no,
wasn't
but
one person that played good against Miami
he
or
was
coached good.
he was super shaky though. I mean, let's be honest. He had a couple simple throws where, I mean, they weren't even like close. And
I
and
agree.
then he blew the Badger throw, as we've discussed on here that week after. Look, DJ made a couple of really great throws. I mean, the Badger throw, I think you kind of termed as kind of being pretty easy. That was a pretty good throw. He was moving on the money, in stride, 50 yards in the air. And then the Mizell throw that you've talked about a lot. So those were great throws, and against anything, air even. But otherwise, you know, he probably missed a couple he could have had. And I thought the one down the middle to Hanson was a nice, where he put it was a nice, you know, put it in a nice place for him. But it was Sanford.
Yeah.
Emory Jones threw for more yards against Sanford. So
Right.
3 years ago. Now, here's what I'll say is I didn't leave the swamp after the Emory Jones performance going, oh my God, Emory Jones. I mean, can't wait to see more of him. We'd already seen enough of him. And that's one of the things with Graham. We kind of know what Graham is at this point. No, he's not what he was against Miami, but even at his best, Tennessee second quarter, let's say, still wasn't as dynamic as what I saw from DJ potentially. So I'm very curious to see more of DJ, much more than I'm curious to see how Graham performed Saturday.
No, I agree. I don't care. I don't care if they throw Aiden Warner out there. I want them to call the game the way they called it against Sanford. I know that Billy said in one of his pressers he called the same game he always does. That is not true. That is not true at all. I can sit here. First of all, we finally put our fast guys in the football game. Okay. That helps the quarterback as well. I'm not taking up for Mertz. I don't care who it is. Put your best players to help your quarterback out. Whoever it is, put your best players out there that can run. That's my whole thing. And Mizell and Tank Hawkins need to play a lot. And by the way, what is going on with Trey Wilson? Is he going to play?
He's questionable. It sounds like he's going to be okay. You don't want to see a guy who I have had questions, didn't coming into this season, did coming into last about durability. And he did get hurt against Tennessee, if you recall, that first series or so, and missed a couple games with a bruised collarbone that he had broken in high school and missed several games. He's not a big guy. I mean, he's put together and he doesn't get hit a lot because he's so quick and agile, but he's questionable, not sure with what, because now this new injury report's the dumbest thing ever. Okay, so they're releasing this thing at 8:10 on a Wednesday night. So nobody gets to ask a question of coaches about any of it. Then they put out another one, then another one. And then there's one 90 minutes per game. So it's a total NFL model. It's all for the gamblers. And I get that's why they're doing it. But we don't even get to ask Billy about it. And then you know what Billy said the other day, if you listen to the press conference, he's like, well, the depth chart, you guys have already gotten one of those. So you guys can kind of figure it out from there. So I joked with Billy afterwards. I said, well, I'm starting DJ then. If I can decide on the depth chart, I got DJ as starting quarterback. Which drew a laugh, but it's like, what, we're just supposed to like piece all this together now? It's just bizarre.
All right. So Edgar, we've had a bunch of people talk about here. They think that Billy may be fired if he doesn't win this game. Do you believe that?
I mean, it depends on how it looks. I think you talk about a bad look, booing Mertz, but then you're firing your coach 3 weeks in. You got a lot of kids who like Billy, like playing for Billy, like what he's doing for them in their lives. And then you get rid of him 3 games in, and you just kind of cut them loose with the interim coach for 9 more games. So I don't know. And you're going to Starkville next week. Do you really want to have an interim taking over on Sunday, and then you got a shorter week because you're traveling for your first road trip? I mean, if it looks really bad on Saturday, maybe it's after the Mississippi State game during the bye week where you have some time, right? Pre-UCF. Let's hope we don't get to that point. I think the Gators, I'm surprised they're 3.5-point underdogs, tell you the truth. A&M hasn't looked like world beaters. A&M's given up 5.2 yards per carry. Now, that they should be able to run the football on this team, but this offensive line, why can't this offensive line get better? I don't understand what's going on there. I thought it was going to be better. They bring in, but Kirby talked about this on the SEC teleconference Wednesday, Shane. He said, offensive line, putting that together in the portal is very difficult because there are not a lot of great options in there, very few guys. You have to recruit, develop that position most of all on any team. And I just don't know that the Gators have done that effectively enough. I'm just not sure what they're doing up front yet. I know that's a concern for you, I'm sure, and they need to really get better there. And then A&M has 1 sack. So A&M has 1 sack and has given up 5.3 a carry. You should be able to make some hay offensively against this team.
Yeah, they're not, when you look at them statistically, and again, it's only 2 games.
Yes.
In under a new coach who's a defensive-minded head coach. They're not what you think they would be. And I'm sure they lost a lot of good players in the portal. They probably brought a few in, but I think one of their starting corners is out. So it's a game Florida should win. I'm hoping they can win the game, but there's still a lot of things that concern me going into the game.
Give me some. What do you got?
Well, can we play defense against SEC team? That's going to start right there. Can we affect their quarterback? Because we have not done that yet this year, and we didn't do it at all last year. And offensively, will we call the game how we called it against Samford? Okay. And I don't know if we will, because I don't know. Now, I don't watch tape. I don't break down each player. I don't know. Maybe Billy thinks, hey, this isn't a great SEC defense. Maybe we can block them in the pass game, but if we are going to block them and our right tackle or left tackle or right guard needs help, let's help them. That's the thing that bothers me the most is also, can we put our explosive players out there to make the defense worry a little bit, right? You hear me talk about trips formation, 3-by-1, the single receiver. I got so damn excited in the press box the other day when I saw the formation with Trey Wilson as the single receiver. He's your most dynamic player. Now, that dude has to cover my best player one-on-one with all this green grass. It doesn't take, I'm not solving cancer here. It's like it's easy. Playing quarterback is hard enough. Make it easy on them. So I'm just rambling.
No, because I'll say this. People were talking about what if Billy doesn't make it through this season. And look, he's on thin ice, and we know this, right? It's a tenuous situation, and there is a path, but it's a precarious one for him to, get through this thing. But DJ's going to leave if Billy, is gone. Well, if I'm DJ, I'm looking around, I'm going, man, I got 3 receivers now. If you include Trey into the mix, running 23 plus. And Jaden Baugh, man, even in spurts, I know he fumbled. He looks dynamic.
That doesn't matter. I could care less if he fumbled. I'd have no problem with that. He looks
super dynamic. And you got some really young dudes that you're, playing with. And then I think Badger and DK bring something too, for sure. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of pieces offensively to be explosive.
Yeah. Like I said multiple times, I would go Wilson, Mizell, DK, Badger, and Tank Hawkins as my alternating guys.
I agree.
And go play. Freaking play football. So people keep talking about, I'm getting a million texts and questions here. If Billy gets fired, DJ's leaving. That's people.
Well, that's why I brought it up.
You can't worry about that. And whoever the new coach is, DJ's being paid a lot of money. Let's be honest. Okay. I don't know exactly what it is. I just know it's a lot. The new coach is not dumb. He's going to do everything he can, if there is a new coach, to convince him. Now, if DJ plays or they're alternating, whatever they do, and Gators win a bunch of games and Billy's the coach next year, nothing changes. He'll still be here. So I don't think you have to worry about it. There are a lot of good quarterbacks around the country, right? A lot of them that you can find quarterbacks. So, all right, Edgar. So from a defensive standpoint, are you concerned about this going into this SEC battle at all?
Yeah, A&M runs the ball well, it appears. You know, they have two good running backs. I'm concerned. This defense and this team make other teams look good. We're seeing that, right? It's just that's the way it's been. And yeah, I mean, A&M has 4 straight top 8 recruiting classes. There was certainly a bunch of attrition when Jimbo Fisher was fired, and there's been attrition even prior to that. They've lost some of those key guys that were, you know, elevated those classes, but there's still talent there for sure, right? I mean, A&M can write some big checks. They have some talent, and it's 2 games. You got a new coach, new systems. Elko is certainly proven at Duke, at least, a pretty good coach when you go 9-4 at Duke, and in one of your years. And he has some familiarity because with some of these guys too, because he was a DC there under Fisher. But Fisher obviously left a mess. You don't pay a guy $77 million to go away and expect all of a sudden you just flip a switch and just get on track. So you're getting him at a good time.
I agree. F45 Training merges 3 leading-edge fitness training styles into one 45-minute functional training class. Visit f45training.com to learn more. A few more minutes with Edgar. We got a text here from Fred. He says, Edgar covered the Dolphins. Ask him if this the last time was the lowest of the low. They're 1-1, right?
That was a rough game, and this Tua thing is pretty crushing.
Yeah.
You know, I was looking at it. You know, I was watching the game a bit, but I wasn't watching him when Tua happened. I was doing something else, reading or whatever. But that's just rough, man. And reading. I mean, people wonder about. You know, we watch the game, and it's all like, you know, oh yeah, that guy got this, that, and the other. They were talking about the hit he took at Alabama that kind of started this whole concussion. This wave of concussions that he's had. Because once you have one, as they say, and you would know this better than I. Once you get one, the next one's easier, and etc. But when he got knocked out with Alabama 19, concussion, broken nose, dislocated hip, and a fracture of the posterior wall of the hip socket. I mean, games is brutal. That's all you got to hear is that. My Lord,
And he's not a very big guy. He's a small guy.
Yeah, he is. But man, that didn't even look like that hard. I mean, it wasn't even a helmet-to-helmet hit.
No, I think he's done. But, you know, them being 1-1, it's so early in the season. There's so much football left. You see that happen in the NFL week in and week out. You know, teams that are supposed to have a good year, they get blown out by somebody. It's just there's so much parity in that league. It happens.
Buffalo's good.
Buffalo's
a good team, but I don't know where you go without Tua. I mean, Skylar Thompson. It's funny. So Skylar Thompson's quarterbacks coach, guy named Justin Hoover in Kansas City, is Graham Mertz's quarterbacks coach since he was in the 7th grade.
Interesting.
Kind of interesting.
All right, before we get you out of here, a couple of texts here. They're kind of all the same, so I'm just.
Oh, no, I'm kidding.
No, we're not talking golf today. They want to know, Edgar, in your opinion. I mean, you get this every week, Edgar. How many wins does Billy have to keep his job?
I mean, I see a path that they could potentially win 7 games, and I think that would do it. Is 6 enough? I don't know. I mean, is that tolerable? But they got to get it to a bowl game, right? Am I wrong? They got to do something here and show some life. I don't know, man. I mean, I have no clue what the thinking is over there. Scott, I caught up with him for a minute, I think post Miami. I mean, it's only 1 game kind of attitude, and it was then. And it's week to week, man. It starts now. If he's going to save his job, it starts this weekend. I don't think he can. I don't think he can lose this game. Because if you lose this game, you need it to split. Even when we looked at the schedule, whenever it came out, right? You looked at it and you're like, they have to split Miami A&M, period. Well, you lost Miami, so you got to win this week.
Out of the next let's see, you got Mississippi State, UCF, and Tennessee,
Tennessee
right?
and Kentucky.
Yeah. So we'll leave Kentucky out of it, but those 3 games after this one,
Mhm.
you have to win this one because the next 3 are going to give you fits on the defensive side of the ball.
You got
With
it.
the
Yeah,
offense.
you really got to win at Mississippi State, and you got to beat UCF. Tennessee, I don't think anybody thinks Gators are going to win that game.
But what I'm
And-
saying is
and that's fair.
those 3 offenses are all kind of the same offense. And
Just really up tempo.
yeah, and they spread you out and they mix it up good. And I'm very concerned about those 3 games from what I've seen, unless the defense plays lights out Saturday and changes my mind. Edgar, good stuff as always, my friend. We'll see you in the press box.
You always say it flies by quickly. It really did. I even look at the clock.
Yeah, it's over with.
Thanks for having me, man.
Thank you, Edgar. That's Edgar Thompson from the Orlando Sentinel. Join us on the Titan Number Hotline. Hope y'all enjoyed today's program. Appreciate you chiming in. We'll recap everything on Monday. Have a good weekend. Take care.